Should Marvel Studios recast the Black Panther or just use an existing character? Find out here. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains! If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Royal Hands, looking very low day, just like usual, doing that princess wave. You do too, that on respect. And of course, there's a Coco dog. She may or may not bark randomly throughout this video.
That's how you can tell if the book is good.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, guys, so today is Monday, and we're coming back at you with a brand new drop list. This is what we do every week. The ComicGains crew puts our heads together. Literally, we have to do with our heads touching. And we figure out which books of the week 1 year ago has lowered in price. And how do we do that, Zach?
We do a lot of investigating, studying, and snooping.
Yeah, we check out hot lists, trending lists, speculatory lists from all kinds of different websites, put them together, crunch the numbers, and we find out why these books were hot a year ago and why they're not now. And maybe if you should consider picking them up because they could become a spec in the future. Or they were probably a bad idea to begin with and you should forget they ever existed. And because we love you guys so much, you get the lucky super opinion of Zach the Slab Master, and he will tell you which one of these books is the deal of the week. Of the century!
But specifically this week.
But in order to do that, he needs to get the juices flowing.
I'm so thirsty.
Yeah.
So thirsty. So Starbucks made something that wasn't coffee. It's a pineapple passion fruit, coconut milk, Starbucks Paradise drink.
Whoa, that's a lot of stuff.
It's just a lot. It's the best stuff on earth. No, that's Snapple. That, I don't know if it's still
made from the second best stuff on earth.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And this is what it tastes like.
It's like,
so let me shake it up. They always tell you to shake it up.
Yeah, you forget that part. Shake it up.
Say it? Oh, yeah, right there where it doesn't say it. Oh, no, shake well. Oh, you didn't like me. I thought you did. Princess fibs me a lot. She gaslights me.
How is it? Is that like pineapple coffee?
No, it's like refreshing, like, well, not energy drink, but it's like, if you had a hangover, this would be something good.
Go juice?
Yeah, it's a go juice. Coconut milk. It needs to be over ice. That's what I'm feeling.
You drink everything over ice.
This one specifically, because it's very thick, and then over the ice, it thin it out a little bit.
There you go.
Make it delicious. Clean that up, Coco.
You know where it's also really thick?
Hanging out with us and whatnot.
Yeah! It's 2 C's though. Every Saturday, you can come hang out with the ComicGains crew, Adam and Zach at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where you have the best deals on whatnot, dollar starts, 30-second auctions, and if you stay up a little bit later till 6, you get to hang out with the princess where she hosts her very own show and has what some people will call the best polls in the game, also dollar start. So really good stuff. Different books between the shows, but good stuff nonetheless. All right, you guys came here to hear about the drop list of the week. And this was an interesting list because 1 year ago, a couple of major movies were coming out and it very highly influenced this list on what was going to be the hot one. So a bunch of these books have stuff in common. And let's start out with number 5 on the list. We've got the Black Panther, number 1 from 1976. Jack Kirby writing and drawing this book. That was kind of cool because I thought I knew that, but until like kind of doing some research, I forgot that he wrote the story too as well. Which this is sort of it's a really good book. It's a little bit lesser known key, not lesser known key, but it's just basically Black Panther's first solo title, like his first solo book, where his name is just the name on the book. It also has the first appearance of the collectors Abner Little and Princess Zonda. Sort of some minor characters going on. So when it comes to Black Panther, there's a lot of interesting keys that go on them, which kind of reason why this book is not always like high up on, high in value. It's a great book. Definitely expensive, but not like super expensive. You have basically like Fantastic Four 52, the first appearance of Black Panther, where he's introduced
right there.
Oh yeah. He's introduced through the Fantastic Four, where basically he challenges them to a battle to come out to Wakanda, and they go out there and he fights them one at a time and defeats them, and they only realize as fighting together can they beat him, and goes on like a whole journey with them, and then he starts getting brought into the Avengers through Tales of Suspense 97, where he gets the first meetup of Captain America giving you a lot of books here, Zach. And then that's the first meeting Captain America, Black Panther. They kind of introduce the two together, and then in Avengers 52, you kind of get him brought into the Avengers and basically immediately joins the team of the Avengers and is with them for quite a long time. Goes on a bunch of really cool journeys, helps them fight Ultron. Okay. And after that, he decides to leave and he goes back to Wakanda. And that's where you kick off Jungle Action, starring the Black Panther, which is kind of like title, but not necessarily like solo type, because there was already 4 issues before that, and then issue 5 is a reprint. And then issue 6 is the first original story, giving you guys a lot of info. But that's kind of the reason why this book has never been like crazy high, but it's also maybe the reason why it hasn't dropped that far in price, which is why it's number 5 on the list. I love it. It's a Jack Kirby cover. I think it's very special. Just doesn't have that like real big first appearance oomph that Zach's always looking for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But what it has is an iconic cover. And people were iconically going after it a year ago in a CGC 9.8 for $935. Now, it's not the cat's meow anymore. It's $805 for a 9.8. Still pretty decent. Very low drop.
How much? I missed it.
$805.
Nice. Whoa,
not that bad of a drop.
Yeah.
Range, so very stable book. At 510 to 935, average sales 722. It's a 14% drop. These are the numbers that are going to be very interesting. There's 5,840, so it's a much beloved book to get graded. But there's only a 250 9.8s.
Whoa.
That's a 4% of total graded. So that makes it a lot more desirable because there's not that many in consideration to the total graded of 9.8s. So that's going to help it keep the price up. I think this is a book you should consider. Ideally, try to get a 9.8. Try to find a high grade copy. Either way, kind of thing will help you out. A lower grade copy probably won't demand the same kind of oomph. But
yeah, it's definitely that. The book tends to be fairly cheap in lower grade. It's like under a 5.0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just a walk away book.
Unless you love it, walk away. All right, guys. Number 4 on the list, and let's switch gears a little bit and talk about our good, everybody's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 183. And if you're asking yourself, what the heck is 183? Well, it came out in 1978. Ross Andru and Marv Wolfman. First appearance of Big Wheel. Jackson Wheel is his name. It's kind of not a stretch to he's like, my name's already, last name's Wheel, might as well just be Big Wheel. And this is also a key book where Mary Jane declines one of Peter Parker's marriage proposals as well. I think he proposed to her quite a few times, and she's like, nope, not yet. Not yet, my friend. And this book got hot. It's a strange book, because I don't think Big Wheel's like everyone's favorite villain, or if it's anybody's favorite villain. I know there's a few like random YouTubers who really love Big Wheel, and for maybe good reasons, but last year there was a lot of news that Donald Glover was going to be playing he was going to be playing Hypno Hustler in a new upcoming movie, possibly. It sort of seemed like a stretch, but they were trying to look at a lot of 70s villains that could also appear in that movie together. So you had like Big Wheel and Rocket Racer and stuff like that were all kind of D level villains.
D-list super villains.
Yeah, that were all kind of connected together that could show up in the movie. So a lot of their books jumped up. Hypno Hustler was really expensive. If you're wondering that one, Spectacular Spider-Man number 24, a pretty good book. And Rocket Racer is Amazing Spider-Man 172, who's on the cover of this book as well with Big Wheel. So just some cool stuff. And you obviously had Donald Glover reprised his role in Across the Spider-Verse as well. Got to see him as the live-action version of the Prowler, wearing the costume for like a second. I heard it only took him like 2 hours to film that. Just put on the costume and just sit while they like filmed him. It's kind of cool. But it's an interesting book. A friend of mine who wasn't even into comics just was like really excited about finding this when we were at the con. And he's like, we should all get the Big Wheel. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get a Big Wheel. You know, it's kind of fun. I don't know. It's on the drop list. We'll see. Maybe if you like Big Wheel, you should pick it up too. Zach will hit you with the numbers up. Guarantee you Zach doesn't like Big Wheel.
It was on a roll a year ago in a CGC 9.6. A lot better information on that book. $109. Now, it's slowed its acceleration at $76 for a 9.6. Range is $52 to a high of $150. Average sale is $89. It's a 30% drop. And a 9.8, it has sold for $164. So not too big of a jump from a 9.6 to a 9.8. It just, for some reason, it's a little bit hotter in a 9.8, which is, I don't know why. There's 639 total graded. There's 195 9.8s total graded. It's a 30% of total graded. This book, I think the cover is, for me, kind of bad. I don't like it. Doesn't enjoy it. I have no idea. I know nothing about this character. This could be a big book. It could be a small book. It could be a mid-tier book. I have no idea where this book is rolling off to. But if you like the character, for that price, for a high-grade copy, why not? I just roll with it.
Roll with it. That's a good one. I like it. I like the puns. I like them. All right. We just shot a web, so let's stay on the web fluid here. We got Amazing Spider-Man 78, number 3 on the list, 1969. This kind of goes well with the last book. We're looking at some Donald Glover action there. John Romita Sr. I apologize. Senior. Yes. Stan Lee, goodness. First appearance of the Prowler. And this one is Hobie Brown. So, pretty cool. He was a thief, bad guy, and eventually kind of becomes a good guy. The Hobie Brown Prowler from the 616 universe eventually sort of becomes a hero. And not to be confused with the 1610 Ultimate Universe Prowler, who is Aaron Davis, who is Miles Morales' uncle, who we got to see in Into the Spider-Verse. Sort of confusing. And it's also interesting as well because Hobie Brown in the 138 universe is actually Spider-Punk, who is in Across the Spider-Verse. So it's like this big triangle of Hobie Brown and and Aaron Davis and the Prowler all mixed together. And whenever their movies all come out, this Prowler book, it gets a huge benefit of it. Amazing Spider-Man 78, because it's all kind of connected. And yeah, it's a fantastic book. I think for a long time it wasn't as important as it was until we got to see Into the Spider-Verse. I think the Ultimate Universe Prowler is a little bit more interesting of a character than the 616 Hobie Brown one is. But like I said, it's all kind of connected, and it's become almost a major key. You know, it's close, right on the precipice of becoming a big-time key. And you only know the real numbers until you hear them from our friend Zach.
Yeah, it was on the prowl, hunting, sneaking, conniving to get those gains. And it did a year ago. For a CGC 9.0, it was $700. Now, $432. Range 432 to 880. Average sale 686. It's a 38% drop. A 9.8 has sold for $5,040. There's 1,948 total graded. 19 of those are 9.8s. It's a 1% of total graded. This book here is probably one of the better Spider-Man keys that you can affordably get. I mean, it's past the 50. From the 50 to 129, there's not that many keys in between there. There are keys like Morbius and whatnot, but there's not a lot of keys in that range. And that's one of the beginning keys of when they started after number 50, in my opinion. Yeah, I think this is a book you need to get. I don't know what grade you want, but I would like to get a 9.0, to be honest. $400 for a 9.0, pretty good.
It's cheaper in lower grade too.
Yeah. And it has good census information. If you can find and afford a 9.8, I mean, that 1% of total graded, crazy low. Mm-hmm. Yeah, be on the prowl for this book.
Yeah. Yeah. A late bloomer, that book was. A late bloomer. All right. Now, this is crazy. I actually thought this was going to be the number 1 book on the list, and we don't have it. But it's actually number 2, and this is way out there in left field. We got Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 1, 1981, James Sherman and Walt Simonson, who did all those really awesome Alien covers as well. So he must really like doing movie covers. So yeah, it does a really good job. This is the first appearance of Indiana Jones in standard size comics, and I think Indy was the dog's name, right?
Oh,
he renamed himself after the dog.
I like the dog more.
Right? And this was a 3-issue mini, so that led you through this whole story of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And if you didn't know, they did this a lot with Star Wars as well. This is a reprint from Marvel Super Special number 18, which is an oversized magazine, which is cool for some people. They did those with the Star Wars books as well. I think over time they've kind of like not had the same value as the comics, because who wants to store one of those or display that? You know, I don't like the oversized ones that much, but you know how it goes. And this book got hot, obviously, because last year we had a brand new installment in Indiana Jones, and it was the Dial of Destiny, where we got to see a very, very old Harrison Ford. I don't think any of us got a chance to see that. I do want to see it. I heard the story was good. It's not quite the level of like Indiana Jones used to be, and but definitely better than Crystal Skull. I heard it was leaps and bounds better than Crystal Skull. So I do want to see it eventually. I'm not like gonna dog on and say it's a horrible movie. The Indiana Jones trilogy I think was amazing and probably should have stayed at 3 movies. I don't know which one your guys' favorite movie is, but you got Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Temple of Doom, which I know Zach doesn't really like for some reason. I actually like The Temple of Doom. The Last Crusade. And then the Crystal Skull, which sucks. But I don't know. In my opinion, I think actually as sequels goes, which very often sequels aren't better. The Last Crusade might actually be better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. Maybe
it's really good.
Maybe. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on that. But I mean, I think if they make another Indy, as much as I love Harrison Ford, I just think he might just be a little too old to be cracking that whip.
He's done.
So if they do keep it going, which I don't even care if they do at this point, they might need to recast maybe some Chris Pratt. I thought that was going to happen with Chris Pratt. He would have been a decent one, but there's a couple other guys that could do it too. But we'll see. I don't know. I'd never mind putting on Indiana Jones and rewatching the old ones though, for sure.
No, it'd be funny if the guy that was in Solo played Indiana Jones. Connect it full circle.
Oh, played it again? What is it, Aldrich or whatever?
Yeah, whatever his name is.
But more importantly, what's the numbers on this whip-cracking book?
Right. Prices for a CDC 9.6 is $75. Now it's $42. Range $36 to $125. Average sale $66. It's a 44% drop.
44?
And a 9.8, this is crazy. 9.8 last sold for $330.
Yeah, I know.
From 9.6 to a 9.8.
It's kind of expensive. That's why I say as a 9.8, it's actually a decent book.
Yeah, if you can get a 9.8.
Yeah.
There's 927 total graded. 226 of them are 9.8. That's 24% of total.
That barely gets under the marker. Yeah. It gets in there.
I think if you like Indiana Jones, get this book. Not bad price, especially in 9.6. If you don't care about Indiana Jones that much, forget we ever talked about it, honestly. I like Indiana Jones, but this is one of those books where I probably find it raw, and a couple raw copies set in, pre-screen it for a 9.8. If any of them get a hit, win. If not, it's a gamble sometimes, and you don't always get those games.
It's definitely going to be a generational thing too. I think like people that are born after like maybe 1995 or something like that probably aren't going to have the same nostalgia for Indiana Jones as older people that really remembered and loved it, because they haven't really been able to keep the genre going. There's no like real Indiana Jones TV show or cartoon for these younger kids that keep going with it. I mean, they did the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which I thought was kind of cool, but that was way back in the early 90s when that came out. That was always fun. All right. You guys stayed up this long. You made it to the end. We got the number 1 book, and this was a mind blower. I can't believe it. Jungle Action number 6, 1973. Rich Buckler, Don McGregor, first appearance of Eric Killmonger. Everyone's I think in a lot of people's opinions, one of the best villains so far in all of the MCU. Played by Michael B. Jordan, and just a really, really great character. It's too bad that they killed him off in the movie. I would say Black Panther was not my favorite movie when it originally came out, but it's slowly, each time I watch it, gets better. It's getting closer to one of my favorite MCU movies I've seen. And, if you ask yourself, who is Killmonger, and who was he in the comics? As you're wondering, who was he in the movie? Well, he showed up in, obviously, Jungle Action 6 and was a new character brought in when Black Panther decided to go home back to Wakanda, and was like, hey, I need to like start being the king of my own country again. When he gets back there, he realizes Eric Killmonger tries to take over the throne from him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit different in the comics. He's not really related to T'Challa like he is in the movie. They have a very long storyline, 12 issues long, called The Panther's Rage, which goes on through Jungle Action. And he's like another guy who basically gets a hold of the flower and eats it, and he gets the powers of the Black Panther, kind of like in the movie. But in the comics, unless you're of the royal bloodline, the flower poisons you over time and will slowly kill you. So, like, as the issues go on, they do a lot of stuff, and they slowly kind of earn a little respect for each other as time, but eventually at the end of the series, surprise, surprise, he dies, just like in the movie. And yeah, it's a fun book, fun long series. There's a lot of really good keys in that whole one. I recommend it. In the comics, however, he is brought back to life in Iron Man Annual number 5 by Madam Slay, resurrected. That might happen in the MCU, I hope. But I offer you guys a big question. What if they use Michael B. Jordan as the new Black Panther? It's kind of like one of those questions up there, you know, and I was going to ask Zach about it as well, too. And the princess, we'll see what the princess has to say about it. But in my opinion, it's going to be really hard if they do another Black Panther movie to recast him or even use that young kid and be like, here's a little kid that's the Black Panther that magically has the same name as T'Challa, that's going to like magically grow up a bunch of years and just take over the role. I don't know if that's going to be received the same way. I almost would rather see them just use one of the older characters, whether it be like Shuri or bring back Michael B. Jordan and just say like Killmonger is now the Black Panther. Or what if, even in the What If TV show, they had Eric Killmonger become the Black Panther, and with all the multiversal stuff going on with Loki and everything else, like, it'd be super easy just to snatch that guy from the other multiverse and bring him in and be like, you're the new Black Panther. It'd be much better received, I think. I don't know if I'd want to see a new T'Challa, and this just, let the MCU run its course, and maybe we don't need to see a regular Black Panther. But I'll ask Zach, what are your thoughts?
I think in the King Dynasty, I would think they're going to bring him into the mix because there's going to be a multiversal war, right?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she have from every multiverse or a good amount of multiverses? Maybe pick some people out of there, and probably because they've already showed him in the What If show, that idea has already been established. So why not?
Yeah.
Just pull him in there and have a big fight of some of the better heroes from all these multiverses.
I like that. They already showed Doctor Strange from What If showed up and from the What If show came into the Multiverse of Madness. So they've already. That's a really good point. That'd be really cool. Really exciting. Yes. And Princess, your thoughts? Exactly. That's exactly that's exactly what I thought you were gonna say.
Exactly.
But it'd be cool. That's what I think. And clearly everybody likes him because they didn't even need him in Wakanda Forever, which I think was a good movie. A lot of people complain about that, but what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to make that? And they still showed him in the Dream Realm, and that was awesome.
That was pretty good.
They needed him. He's gangster, dude. Anyways, let's hear those numbers. This is a cool book.
It was a massacre a year ago for a CGC 9.4. Killmonger was killing it at $1,100 for 9.4. Now it's $416. Range 416. What? Criminal to 1,100. Flipsy flops. Average sale is 675. It's a 62% drop. A 9.8 has sold for 5,400. Not that long ago. There's 1,014 total graded. 10 of them are 9.8s. That's 1%, less than 1%, but around up. 1% of total graded.
Damn.
I think this is going to be one of those books that if you get it in a high grade or, just somewhere above like an 8.0, it's going to grow, and it's going to show up really soon as one of the best Copper Age keys to get. I think it's copper.
1973? That's bronze.
Oh, that's bronze.
That's definitely
bronze. Okay. Look like it had more of a modern feel to it. Okay, it's probably going to be up there with one of the better Bronze Age keys, especially for the price you're going to get it at. So I think that this is the book to get off the list. I'm jumping ahead. This is the book to get off the list. A strong second would be The Prowler, but I think Killmonger crushed The Prowler, and its future spec worthiness.
Yeah, if you're ever going to see a movie, like a solo movie, I think you're going to see a Killmonger solo movie before you see a Prowler solo movie. Although they have both had their own individual books. So
yeah, and people don't remember the Prowler individual
like,
books. They forgot
or like the finger, like the shiny glowing finger. But yeah. So, well, we got to Zach's picks early. Good. Got those out of the way. Those some solid lists this week, guys. But as usual, do us a huge favor. If you love hearing these drop lists, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when we're going live. You guys like this show, come hang out with us on Wednesday where you can ask us any questions you want. And we might answer them, or we might not. You never know. But Wednesday, we talk New Comic Day. You hear our likes, our dislikes, all that good stuff. And do us a favor, leave a comment down below. We asked you some good questions today. What's your favorite Indiana Jones movie? Huh? And what if they brought Michael B. Jordan back as the Killmonger?
How would they do it?
Either one. You can answer either or both. Zach, anything else?
Yeah, you gotta share. How you do that is, you have to get this thing in the mail. Of course, you have to register for it. And you gotta pick off this ballot, pick the people that you want to represent you. And that's how you vote for an election of something. Maybe the mayor, I don't know. I don't really vote very often. I should. I vote like 1 out of 10 times. That's how patriotic I am. I mean, I'm wearing the tank top patriotic, but you know.
I keep talking about voting. I think National Voting Day just passed.
Wait.
Yeah, like remind.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I thought that we still had a little bit longer.
I think it was like last week.
Ah, crap. This is how you miss the vote. Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
We'll remind you a week after. Don't forget to vote
Don't forget to vote.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
America, get those gains.
Get them. Everybody else, too. A lot of fans throughout the world.
Everybody else. Canada and Mexico and Japan and all the other countries I can't name off because I don't know very many.